All right, Kodiak3382, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thoughts on the general idea of planned economy? I think generally speaking, if your economy is centralized and planned, I think it doesn't incentivize nor result in wealth creation. But that being said, I'm not against government intervention in the economy. That's essentially what the government does. It intervenes and it creates the incentive structure for economic activity. That's what the government does. And so we want a government that prioritizes the needs of the people, namely healthy communities, healthy families. We want a government that does that. And then so if the economy is in a place where they exploit workers, and I know that's kind of like the language of the left, but truly like exploit workers and disincentivize family creation, marriages, and having children. If they incentivize people being nomads and going from place to place to place to place to place instead of being able to build lasting communities and have generation after generation build family wealth, yeah, I think the state should intervene to a certain degree. Yeah, absolutely. Like, why wouldn't they? Well, what's the end goal? Is the end goal wealth creation in and of itself? No, the end goal is wealth creation for, yes, national sovereignty and your own national interests, but also for the individual and their family. For the individual to live a fulfilled life within their family in a community. Like, that's the end goal. Shouldn't that be the end goal of politics? And like the ultimate end goal, I believe, should be for the state politically to orient people towards the eternal good and restrain evil. Like, I mean, that's just what Romans 13 says, that the state exists. It's a servant from God for our own good and also to act as a terror to the evildoer. So, biblically speaking, and just even practically speaking, we want the state to be an entity that promotes the eternal good, but also restrains and punishes and destroys evil. That's what we want. But if it's orienting us towards the eternal good, that also means the temporal good, which is namely our families and our communities. So the state getting involved in the economy is not socialism, it's not communism, it's just good governance. And all good leaders knew this, by the way. Park Chung-hee was not a communist, but he was very involved in the economy. And I think, you think about even my favorite U.S. president is Teddy Roosevelt. I love that guy. I think he's such like a patriot. But he was very antitrust. He went after the corporations and the banks. And this is why they hated Andrew Jackson, by the way, too. Andrew Jackson, people always say, oh, the Trail of Tears. Blah, blah, blah. That's all liberals know him for. But he went after the banks. That's why they hated him so much. He was for the people. That's good governance. That's good governance. So, yeah, I don't agree with the planned economy. I hate it. I think that a planned centralized economy actually disincentivizes wealth creation, and it's not good. You can't have a central body that accounts for the needs of every single person in a population of millions and millions of people. But that being said, if the economy is not serving the interests of the people, then absolutely the state should come in and intervene to a certain degree. Because we don't exist for the economy exists for us. So if it's destroying our lives, yes, the government should get involved. Kodiak, again, for $2, thank you. Titoism tried to assess what you said earlier, by the way. Yeah, and that's why, like, I've read a little bit about Titoism, but that's where I am. Like, I think that when it comes to practical political solutions, being so ideologically tied to one or the other side is not helpful. And what I mean by that is, like, when it comes to governance and the economy, like, these are all things that ebb and flow depending on the time period. So then the solutions would also ebb and flow, right? Like, maybe there's a little more room for freedom, but there's a little more room for more government intervention. And then people always say, oh, if you give away your freedoms, they'll never give it back. I mean, I don't think that's true. Like, that's just not true. Why do we know that? Because as America has loosened its blasphemy laws, its pornography laws, its sodomy laws, its gay, trans laws, everything, no-fault divorce, all these things. They loosen restrictions. So that's just objectively not true. Like, we have gotten more freedoms, and what has resulted because of that is, more degeneracy and destruction in society. So, yeah, that's just not true. So I think that a lot of things, when we think about politics, like, we have to think a little better and a little deeper about how Yes, like we hold our convictions about first principles. Like, yes, like don't kill an innocent person. Marriage is between one man and one woman. Like those are definitely, we can't compromise on those. But I'm talking about like the role of the government and the state and the economy, things like that, right? I think it's okay to talk through different solutions in order to address different problems depending on the era and the generation.